Last summer, we introduced you to a woman named Vana Carmona. Vana lives in Portland and is leading research around Maine's ties to slavery and the slave trade. Her nonprofit dedicated to that work is called the Prince Project, named after the man she believes her family once enslaved.
Vana is working towards moving her database online and making her findings available to researchers everywhere. In the meantime, there's more history to be uncovered and even more unanswered questions about what life really was like for slaves in Maine.
Well, it depends. A lot of people are just surprised that there was that much enslavement in Maine to begin with. And when you get into the details of the enslavers, the slave trade, etc., how extensive it really was, the kind of behavior that went on, the treatment, things like that. And a lot of times the history that we do sort of have an inkling about is incorrect. So there's that too.
Last year, you were able to get really up close and personal with your research. Where did you go?
I had planned to go to Ghana before COVID, so I finally got to Ghana.
Yeah.
And then from there I went over, there's a little country called São Tomé and Príncipe. It's a couple of very small islands, and it is in the eastern part of the Gulf of Guinea there. So I went down there.
And in simplest terms, why did you go?
Why? Because that was one of the places that the Portuguese went originally, and that's where they set up some of the original sugar plantations that were then used as sort of the models when the Spanish and the Portuguese came to the New World.
What was that experience like?
Well, it's always startling in so many ways, and that was only the beginning. I visited 7 historical sites that were the enslaving forts, and I also went to a place called Slave River, and this is where they had what was called the last bath, and that's where they'd bathe them all up. All the enslaving merchants were there gathered to pick and choose who they wanted. Then there was a section where they would be branded, and then they would walk the final stretch down to the coast to go into the slave forts, like Elmina and Cape Coast Castle. So, and then from there they would go through the doors of no return and gone.
And
that's tough. That's tough. It's very tough. And I know that I met several little groups of people who would come there from the United States, et cetera. This was one of the areas that was one of the major areas, especially in the 18th century, where a lot of the kidnapped Africans were being taken to the New World. So a lot of people are going back to trace their ancestry, see where their families came from.
Your research, it did show you that your family did own slaves.
Yes,
and now
I know
you've gone back and you've seen these places. What would you say to them today if you could talk to your family members?
I don't think we would have a good time at Thanksgiving. No, I think it would be hard to, it would have to be one of the very first things we ever discussed, because I still don't understand it. And I stood there, and those are just 2 of the countries, and I still don't understand it. I don't understand that kind of cruelty.
The Prince Project itself, you're looking to get all of this information into an online database.
Yes.
You're there, you're ready for it.
Yeah.
And you're also, if people are interested in learning more from you this summer, you're giving tours.
There are some organizations that are hoping to help us with that. But there's things that got to be tweaked and this and that. So hopefully, because I think that would be really important for people to be able to access and also to contribute. You see, if they contribute, then we can make this into something that is as complete as it can possibly be for everybody. Then I've been giving a lot of presentations. I'm working with some other organizations, collaborating on some events, and then this summer we're going to be leading tours, Black History tours in Eastern Cemetery in Portland, where it's going to be basically a venue for discussing Black history in the area.
Yeah.
So, but it's a way to kind of pull it together, because there you have a lot of the enslavers are buried, and also there's 2 sections for the segregated sections for African Americans.
So as you just heard, Vana has 5 tours scheduled this summer in Eastern Cemetery. To learn more about those and the Prince Project, just head to our website or app.
Stay with us. We'll be right back with more of